All right, today we are diving into a question that kind of splits the world right down the middle. On one side, you've got this whole world of the supernatural, spirits, things we can't see. And on the other, you have the fascinating inner world of the human mind. The question itself seems so simple, but the journey to an answer, well, that forces us to take a hard look at how we see reality itself. And look, this is not some new debate, right? This is one of those big, timeless questions that people have been asking forever. It really gets to the core of what makes us curious. So here it is, the big one. Are ghosts really real? Seems like a simple yes or no, doesn't it? But here's the thing. This question immediately makes you choose a path. And, as you're about to see, your answer doesn't actually end the discussion. Nope. It just decides where the investigation goes next. Yeah, it's not an endpoint at all. It's more like a fork in the road. And depending on which way you go, yes or no, you end up on a completely different journey of discovery. Okay, so let's actually walk down both of those paths for a minute. What are the implications? What happens if we say yes, and what happens if we say no? So, on the one hand, if you say yes, ghosts are real, well, suddenly our world gets a whole lot weirder, right? We're talking about forces and phenomena that science just can't explain yet. But, and this is the really cool part, if you say no, the story doesn't just stop. Not at all. In fact, it leads to an even more fascinating question, one that's all about us.
And here it is. This is the killer twist in the question. If ghosts aren't the cause, then what is? See, the focus completely shifts. All of a sudden, we're not chasing phantoms anymore. We're trying to solve a very real and very human puzzle.
So, yeah, this is our new focus. We're leaving the supernatural debate behind for a second and diving straight into this puzzle of human behavior. The entire second half of this question really hangs on this one little phrase. So, let's get on the same page. What are we actually talking about when we say ghost-like behavior?
It's basically a catch-all term, a neutral way to describe all those spooky experiences. The things that make people go, whoa, I think I just encountered a ghost. It's super important to get this. The term just describes the effect. It doesn't try to explain the cause. It's the what happened, not the why it happened.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's all the classic hits, right? That floorboard creaking upstairs when you are absolutely sure you're home alone. Or that weirdly specific cold spot you walk through in a hallway. The thing you catch out of the corner of your eye, just for a split second, but when you whip your head around, nothing. And of course, that deep gut feeling that you're being watched. These are the real experiences we're trying to get to the bottom of. Now, this is absolutely crucial. The question is not trying to tell anyone their experience wasn't legitimate. It totally accepts that these things feel incredibly real to the person having them. The goal isn't to argue, did that really happen? It's to ask, okay, assuming it wasn't a ghost, what else could have caused that feeling? We're not here to be judges or debunkers. We're detectives. Okay, so where does all this lead? This whole thought exercise, this entire journey? It's all building towards one final, really powerful idea about where we should be looking for answers. Just think about the path we've taken here. We started off looking for something out there, an external thing, a ghost. But the moment we started focusing on the behavior, the question itself forced us to pivot, to look inside ourselves for the answer. And honestly, that's the real genius of framing it this way. See, the question about ghosts, it was never really about ghosts. It was just the key to unlock a much deeper, much more profound question about ourselves. And that's the ultimate pivot that reframes this whole thing. Because whether ghosts are real or not, we're forced to consider a different, maybe even more interesting possibility, that the most fascinating mysteries aren't hiding in the shadows of some old house, but are actually wired into the architecture of our own minds. So the final question really is, are you looking for the answer out there or in here?